Hello everybody, it's Cody3751. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it hasn't been that long since my last video, but I want to show you an unboxing video which is pretty much next level. It pretty much breaks the record for the most locomotives I ever unboxed in one video. So let's get right to it, shall we? Okay, I know what you might be thinking. Good gosh, Cody, you certainly made out like a bandit. you So in part one, we're going to be doing these two. So welcome to part one of, well, let's just call it triple series of engines unboxing or something like that. I don't know what the title's going to be, but I'll have to figure it out. Maybe you guys have a better title, but just let me know in the comments what I think I should name this series. I'm thinking like maybe unboxing trains, but I'm not exactly sure. These are not entire trains, but regardless, the unboxing train series is a separate series, and I don't think this really is part of it. But since you know, a consistent of locomotives is like one train, I would say these are definitely not trains. These are locomotives. So let's just call it unboxing locomotives instead of unboxing trains, shall we? So let's get right to it. Again, this is part one, so let's get going on this. This is the first one. So you might be wondering what this is. This is it's a Great Northern locomotive. It's a GP7. Looks pretty good from what I can see. So I'm just going to take it out of its box. I have normally when I'm unboxing I'm unboxing these for the first time. I'm just going to give you a little disclaimer. These have been out of the box before. Yeah, some of these operated pretty well for a little while, but then they kind of, well, so most of these still operate pretty well. This one has a slight issue with knocking sounds and stuff, but that's really a minor issue and nothing really to worry about there. Anyway, let's just take it out of here. Be really careful because this is really fragile. So let's take a look at it. This is a Great Northern GP7 with no dynamic brakes. This is very common for the type of locomotive they would produce back in the day. When I say back in the day, I mean back in the really late 90s, early 2000s, possibly 2004 probably. So this is a nice locomotive. It's got really good details on it. It's got some of the other stuff. It's number 610. This is a Lifelike Pro 2000, but at this time Lifelike was making a transition from being its own company to being owned by Walthers. So I think kind of gives you a reminder of what things used to be like back in the day. So this has got the Great Northern logo on the cab, and I think it's got crew figures in there. Can't really tell, but look, the angle probably. Yeah, I can't really tell if there's crew or not. But anyway, so that's just the details on this. There's no dynamic brakes, which means it's gonna be like a road switcher or whatever. Great Northern local, you know, hauling, like a Vernon local, you know, hauling short freight trains on level track and not going over any hills, just going between like the big town on my layout to just going on like the big town, from like the big town to like a little town on the slopes, on the slope, and just not going over any grades or anything like that. Just go on a branch line, basically the St. Helens line or whatever. So that's exactly what this would be like for, you know, just going on level grades. So that's the end of that one. So now next we're going to be doing the E6. This is really special. Okay, so this is the E6 locomotive. As you can see, it looks different than the GP7 does. Now this one is a locomotive that existed back in I'd say the 1940s. This locomotive was produced before World War II, so not very many were made, but it was more than what they expected for sure. This is actually made after the E3 was. So the E6 was more common than the E3 was. Reason that is because the E6 is more standard. And so let's just open this up so you can see. So I know you guys are thinking you're not a Kansas City Southern guy. Well, guess what? I have a book out. Actually, I don't have a book out. I have a book in my collection somewhere that talks about the Kansas City Southern. So this is actually the locomotive that is I used to read this book all the time, and so it kind of had a little section on there about the Kansas City Southern, and I thought that's such a cool paint scheme. Why not just have one of those locomotives? So I thought this would really fit into my just kind of historical reference there. So this is nice, and it does run pretty well. So in fact, I might have a video later on about the locomotive running. So I'm just gonna take this out of its box, see what happens, see what we got. So this locomotive I meant to do kind of last because it's got the DCC on it, which is nice. So it's got DCC. I'm not sure if I changed the address or not, but it has been out of the box before. I tested it on the club layout, which is nice. The nice part about it. I gotta be really careful. I'm about to slip out my hands there. Anyway, I gotta be really careful so it doesn't get out of it. Doesn't. Okay, so let's take a look at the minor details of this locomotive. It's got the Mars light on there. It's got the steam generator. It's got the horns, which I think are a combination A200 125 horn. It's got the radiator grills on the top here. It's got the two engine nacelles, and it's got the little windows on the side. Excuse me, it's got the little windows on the side there. It's got the cabs. I'm gonna look at the cab in a second here. I think there's supposed to be someone inside of here. I'm not sure. I can't really tell, but it's kind of dark in here, as you can see. Anyway, so it's a really nice locomotive. It's not as like very. It doesn't look very. It looks kind of plastic looking, just like this one does, but it's not in a bad way. It doesn't look like that in a bad way. It looks really good for being like late 90s, early 2000s locomotive. Really, you can find locomotives like this much more better detail these days. So that's the reason why I'm doing this series. So anyway, so in part 2 we're going to be doing these two locomotives. They're basically the same thing except they're different numbers. So stay tuned for part 2. This is Cody 3751. Ride safe.